Reporting from Gen Con 2017, I'm here with John Clare, who is the designer of Mystic Vale, a game that came out last year and was highly innovative. And this year, John Clare has brought a couple of other games here, which are also based on his card crafting system. And one such game that he's going to tell us about is Custom Heroes. Thank you, John.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for talking with me. So, Custom Heroes, if you're familiar with Mystic Vale, uses the same core card crafting system, but otherwise it's a totally different game. Custom Heroes is the core of it is based on sort of your traditional ascending or ladder climbing trick game. So if you've played The Great Dalmudi or President or Scum, right? Those are all different, or Tichu. Those are all different names of games that use that same sort of core system. The system, if you're not familiar with it, would be something like if I lead a trick, I could play any set of cards of equal value. So. Is the glare okay? Are you able to see that?
No, you're good.
So I would play like a pair of twos. The next player would then have to play pairs of equal or higher value. So he could play, say, a pair of fours, right? And it goes like this until everyone either passes. It goes until everyone passes in order, in which case the last player to have played cards wipes the pile, gets to lead the next one. And the goal of each hand is to try to be the player to get rid of all your cards first. Okay, so that's the core of the game. Whoever gets rid of their cards first scores more victory points, and whoever gets later in the round or last will either get less victory points or maybe even lose victory points. All right, so what makes the game different? A few things. The core, of course, of the things that make it different is card crafting. So behind everyone's screens, they will be hiding a set of advancement abilities, and these might be hard to see on camera. Let me know.
No, we're good.
You can get it? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
A set of card advancements, which you can use to modify your cards. And what we've done with the art on the cards is it's set up so that when you sleeve a card onto an advancement onto a card, the character's now like holding a new weapon.
Yeah, so the advancement integrates.
Right.
The advancement integrates graphically with the card.
So this is a +4, so it's a good advancement. So she's got a cool sword, whereas this is a -1, so she's holding a pile of cabbage. Right?
A sword and cabbage warrior.
Okay, and she nets out to be a 7, right? So how that might play out in the hand, one person plays 2s, one person plays 4s. Maybe the next person, let's see if I have a good example in this hand. All right, I'm going to cheat and grab the other hand because that one's not a good example. So let's say the other person has a 5 and a 9 in their hand, right? And they can't play a pair. They could take the +4 that they've got hiding on their screen, add it to the 5, and then say pair of 9s, right? Okay, that's great. So now they can play pair of 9s during the hand. When the hand is over and all the cards get reshuffled, all of these powers are going to stay on the cards. So in all future hands, we are now going to have 1 less 5 in the game and 1 more 9, right? And this 9 could get modified further. So there's other cards in the game that have text effects. So these are called buddies, and they cost a power token to activate the ability. And you'll generate power tokens during the game. Part of the benefit you get from doing badly in a hand, you get less victory points, but you get more power tokens. And this effect, for example, I could put it on the same card here, and now I could play this card as, if I pay for the power, this card counts as 2 copies of itself, so I can play this single card as a pair of 9s, right? And you might get another like plus something. So there's the final type of effect you'll see is cards that literally just replace the starting number. So if I drop this one on it, now it's a pair of 13s.
I see.
Right. So what happens is from hand to hand, the deck sort of morphs and changes, and the distribution changes from hand to hand. From a strategic standpoint, why this game is one of the key differences strategically from other games, other than, this is like a fun, cool thing, right? But strategically it impacts the game in more than just a card counting way. Because you have a certain amount of these behind your screen. If you don't spend any during one hand, you still have them for the next hand, and you're going to get more, right? Same with the power tokens that you spend to activate the abilities.
So there is a deck of cards with numerical values, and there is a deck of advancements.
Yeah, so the deck of advancements comes in this opaque bag, and you're going to draw them out sort of secretly. And then there's a deck of the regular cards, which start with nothing on them. They're numbered 1 through 10 at the. They're all 1 through 10 at the beginning, right?
And after that, who knows?
And it's going to change. But so from hand to hand, there's an element of resource management, right? Do I use up my power? Because these can easily swing a hand, right?
Yeah.
Using them correctly can easily be the difference between winning or losing a hand. But if you overspend them and you win, and maybe you can win the hand without spending all of them, right? Or maybe you're okay with taking second place instead of first in this hand, because taking first would cost you to spend a whole bunch of your resources, right? So that element means you're thinking about future hands instead of just only trying to maximize your potential victory in this hand. You're thinking about future hands as well. So there's that element of resource management going from hand to hand.
And I saw in the advanced ones there are small colored dots at the bottom.
So the small colored dots just are sort of an aid to tell you this plus here goes in a different spot than this, or this modifier goes in a different spot than this modifier. So when I sleeve them on the same card, they won't cover each other up. But if another card had the same orange dot, let's see, here's one, right? You can't put two of the same colored dots on the same card because it would cover the previous bonus. So basically, each card can get a total of 4 advancements on it at a time.
I see. That just a reminder. Perfect.
Hey, you've already put something in this spot. You can't put another thing in that spot.
Can you replace?
So no. Once a card has been modified, it stays modified. And then scoring. Basically, what I wanted to do with this design is I wanted to make it so that no matter how far behind you were, you still had a chance at winning. So there's a couple rules that make that possible, while also still benefiting the people who do well early. So the victory condition in this game is you have to first reach 10 victory points, and then get first place in a subsequent hand. So you can only win the overall game by getting first place. So that what that means is no matter how far behind you are, as long as you get first place in a hand, no one else is able to win. You score a bunch of points, you start catching up. The game caps at 6 hands. So if at the end of the 6th hand, no one has yet won the game. What you do is you take the person who has the most victory points, and the player who won the 6th hand, which usually aren't the same two people, or that person probably would have achieved the victory condition. So the person with the most points and whoever won the 6th hand play a 7th championship hand, 1 versus 1. Points don't matter, whoever wins the hand wins. So usually the game will end in the 4th, 5th, or 6th hand, but if it manages to get through 6 hands, then you just championship hand.
Deathmatch.
Yeah, deathmatch to win.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you for telling us about Custom Heroes. As you can see, everything is in Japanese and English because, as I understand, the game is being released.
And the rulebook
in
is dual-sided. It's got a Japanese side and English side. I don't think I covered some real basics. It plays in probably a half hour to 40 minutes. Depends on if someone wins in the 4th hand or the 6th hand, right? And how many players you have.
And is the game available for general purchase now?
It is now available. It plays 2 to 6 players, I think I said that.
Yeah.
And about a half hour to an hour.
Perfect. Thank you, John.
Yeah.